Okay, so now that you've familiarized yourself with the single stick striking method, striking angles, that sort of thing, let's go into some double stick patterns, and we're going to start with what we call open sinawali. You have an open position, you have a closed position, you have a sideways position here like this, usually referred to as Abierta, Cerrada, and then Serrata here like this or like this, right onto the side. So these are going to be open position ones, and these are just three. These are the three basic ones that we use at the school that you want to master. So the first one is just a 2 count on each side. These are downward strikes like we were doing earlier. These are angle 1, angle 2, angle 1, angle 2 with the left stick. So it's an inward strike, backhand strike, inward strike, backhand strike. You want to focus your mind on hitting with the end of the weapon, so your target is, use your head as sort of like the level, right, when you're practicing on yourself, or practicing by yourself, I should say. So I want to strike and kind of project that stick outward a little bit, okay? So there's my inward and backhand right, inward and backhand left, shooting that out here. It's not a big arcing motion like this, right? But it's more of almost a very direct, like a punch, and then a slash through here like this, like you're cutting. Now the Abecedario 6 count is an inward strike, but you're going to hit low, bring it back, and then you hit high. Some people pull it all the way through, that's fine, or we hit it high and then we open it up here like this. So it's inward, low backhand, high backhand, inward, low backhand, high backhand, towards the head, towards the knee, towards the head. So that's your Abecedario, what we call 6 count. Sometimes you hear people call that entry 3 or entry 6. Okay, then the last one that we're going to do is called the cob or pai. There's a bunch of these, right? Or you can do these in a bunch of different elevations, which will change the pattern. But the cob 6 is where we hit 2 at the head, 2 at the body, 2 at the leg. So we go high, high, middle, middle, low, low. Sometimes we train this where we just work the high line 3 times and the high line 3 times, or we change elevations. As long as you understand that these are jabs, a watik goes out and back, out and back. So this could be anywhere on the body, right? Anywhere on the target, arms, head, right? Whatever we're hitting, that's simply just a strike. But as a pattern, we go 2 high, 2 middle, 2 low, or sometimes what we do is we go 1, 2, 3 high, 1, 2, 3 high, or 1, 2, 3 low, 1, 2, 3 low, on and on and on. And we'll show some more variations later. But those are your basic open position Siniwalli patterns. Okay, now when we get into the closed or Serrata position where both sticks are on the side, I'm just going to go through some of the basics again. So there's many of these, but once you kind of understand these, you can keep building off of it, right? But what we have is what a lot of people know as Heaven 6 is an inward strike and a backhand strike and a backhand strike. Now, when we're hitting this, this is downward, downward, and then that's an out and back on that same line as we did earlier with our inward and backhand strikes. So we go here, we usually drag this across the line, and then we jab. Inward, backhand, backhand. What helps is to be, every position is a chambered position. So right here I could hit either stick. When I strike, I could hit either stick. When I pull through, I could hit with either stick. And then, of course, when I jab here, I'm starting over on the left side. So I go all the way through. Now I'm in a Cerrada position. All the way through, I'm in an open position or a Serrata position, jab, and I'm in this chambered position here. So that's your basic, or I should say commonly known striking pattern, what we call Heaven 6. Inward, backhand, and backhand, inward, backhand, backhand, okay? Now we also have we have a series of inward, backhand, inward strikes. Inward, we go around the head, we call that umbrella, and then inward, inward, backhand, and inward. So as I'm striking that, I'm backhanding with the other stick, striking and backhanding it like this. You could also make that a roof block position here like so, whereas, see the position here, I'm not going around my head anymore, but staying out front and then turning that into an inward strike. So inward, roof as you backhand, and then follow through inward. Inward, roof as you backhand, follow through inward. Inward strike, okay? Now the Redondo doesn't have a defensive application. It's just a power strike like we did in the single stick series. Look at the Redondo videos, right? So I'm going one, as I'm getting ready to load up the second strike, I've already hit my backhand here like this. Inward, backhand, and inward. So the redondo has no defensive application, whereas umbrella and the roof block do, right? That's defensive, like I'm blocking or hitting their strike. Okay, redondo is just a repeated angled strike here like this. 1, 2, I get my elbow up, 3. So they look almost identical. And if you go online, you'll see people calling that redondo 6. That's fine. But inward, backhand, inward, inward, backhand, inward. Okay, the fourth one doesn't feel the same as the first 3 because we jab the first strike, then we backhand, then we forehand. Jab, backhand, or inward, we say. Inward and forehand, same thing, right? We use them interchangeably. So we jab that, we would tick that, backhand, and then inward. Would tick it, backhand, and forehand. So we'd bounce it here like this. That's still an inward and a backhand and an inward. So those are your 4 inward, backhand, inward patterns from this position. Okay, and then the last one we'll do is the backhand, or we say ortobus 6, from this position. Now what happens here is I start like I'm going to strike with an inward strike, but I reverse it, bring it around the head and backhand. Okay, so for this, we go 1, we bounce it, and we cross the arms. We backhand all the way through, then we go out and back, just like in Heaven 6. I go around the head for the angle 2 there, backhand all the way through, out and back. Around the head, backhand, and backhand. Around the head, our angle 16, right? If you go back and look at Lacosta angles 1 through 17, you'll see this, we call it a reverse, where it starts like a forehand strike, but we bring it around the head. So that's exactly what's happening here. Backhand, 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 backhand. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your ortobus 6. You can either just flip it, right, like this right in front, or I like to make it a bigger motion, a little more power on that around the head. They call it sometimes reverse umbrella. So those are our 3 standard closed position or Serrata position striking patterns. Your inward, backhand, backhand, or Heaven 6. Then you've got the 4 inward, backhand, inwards, roof, redondo, umbrella, and watik. And then lastly is the old backhand, backhand, backhand. So play with those, get those down, and then we can start adding other elements.